This is the King's Gambit, an aggressive opening that offering a pawn to get counterplay and an advantage in development. This opening may lead to a checkmate in just 14 moves. So, let's start. E4, E5, and shock your opponent in pushing F4. Giving a pawn and weakening your king's side. Your opponent has two options to choose here, to take or to decline the gambit. If they take it, then always move knight F3 to control this H4 square check. For the opponent queen, that can lead you to frustrations on defending. If they don't defend the pawn with G5, go on D5 to control the center and allowing to the diagonal for the black bishop to take. Always in mind that if the opponent doesn't defend this pawn, take it directly with bishop to avoid for possible attack. This is also an easy develop of your bishop. If they defend this pawn with G5, do not push D4. This is because the pawn is backed by a pawn, so you cannot take it directly with your bishop. Moreover, they may attack your king's side in response of pushing this pawn to the threat of a H2 check. Push H4 to make your opponent frustrated and unsure of what to move next. If they capture, we can now push D4 in with the idea of taking control of the center and giving him two isolated pawns that can be taken anytime soon. So, if they defend it with another pawn pushing H6 thinking they create a good pawn structure, we can just take it, and if they take back, rook is crying for his life. If they push G4 advancing its pawn and attacking your knight, just go your knight on E5 hitting G4 and F7 pawn. If they attack your knight with pawn, take G4 then takes, and this pawn is begging for his life. If they try to protect this pawn with queen, then go for check, queen defend, take pawn, they take bishop then take for the rook and harvest opponent's pawn. You're already slightly better with this. So, instead of advancing this pawn on G4, they go on F6 trying to have a solid pawn structure, but that's a mistake because we can just sacrifice our knight. After they take back, opponent must be ready with unlimited check for white. Check with queen, king to E7 is the only move, then take G5. If they cover with knight, move E5 and it's a free knight, that's why they don't defend, instead go back their king to E8 square. Check again, move again to E7, then check again. Forced to move on F7, then check again with bishop. If they defend with pawn, then it's a free pawn. They most likely go on G6, check again, back to G7 then check again, go on H6 then takes and check again, and then checkmate in 4 moves.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Let's go back in this position. What if they rejected the gambit and made the knight C6, which is the second most popular move? Then proceed with basic development. Knight on F3 pressuring the E5 pawn. If they defend with pawn, then develop your bishop. They might go to pin. Just castle. After that, it's all set for attack. In this position, if the opponent goes on D4 to pressure your knight in F3, we can set up a trap. Take F7 pawn check. If opponent take back, then knight on G5 check. They can't take with queen, because it's an easy queen takes with a check. That's why they might back on E8, then take the bishop. And if they're too greedy to take the pawn and threatening the rook, then we can just simply takes pawn then takes back. Then a rook takes bishop check. If they take back, then knight on E6, a double check. And if they don't take, then it's an easy checkmate. Let's go back in this position again. If the opponent goes on solid position like move on D6. Continue focusing on basic development. That's it. King's Gambit has a lot of variations, but this video only focuses on most common moves based on Lichess database. That's it.